Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with a very special episode of the Desert Adventure Park because today we will build a reptile house for the Desert Adventure Park, and to be exact this will be the African reptile house. So all of the animals that will live in this house will be obviously from Africa. We are building here in the zoo, the African village right now, so I wanted to add the reptile house to add some reptiles simply and smaller creatures to our animal roster. As you guys know, this zoo is inspired by Dubai Safari Park, and this building also is inspired by it. And actually inspired is a great word because it is by no means a recreation or something like that. I did it like completely different. Only like the idea of 3 domes that you'll see in a second is like taken from this park, and you know, the general theming and so on, but I came up with everything you see myself. All of the decorations inside of this house and also 2 habitats that we'll add to this park are my creations. So today we'll add 5 exhibits to this house. And 2 habitat animals. The habitat animals will be the Aldabra giant tortoise and the Nile monitor, both obviously coming from Africa. The smaller ones, the animals that live in exhibits, are the puff adder, the scarab beetle, the Goliath frog, the Goliath beetle, and the giant tiger snail. And before you come for me, I know obviously that the snails, the beetles, and even the frog are not reptiles. They are insects, they are amphibians, and so on. To be honest, in every reptile house that I ever been in any of the zoos, there are always creatures like that inside. Even though it is called a reptile house, there are always some animals that are not reptiles, that are insects, amphibians, and so on. But it actually makes sense to house them together as, you know, smaller animals who live in terrariums and stuff like that. I don't know why those houses are called the reptile houses, where there are more animals than just reptiles in them. Probably because the reptiles are always like the major group of animals in those houses. The amphibians, insects are just like additions. But yeah, today in our reptile house we'll have reptiles, we'll have some insects, and also some amphibians. So, while I was giving you guys the overview of the things that we'll build today, I already created the 3 domes that this building will consist of. I obviously used the dome technique that is so useful, and if you don't know how to do it, there are tons of tutorials here on YouTube of how to create the domes. You just need to, you know, create 2 walls, decorate them however you like, and just you know, rotate them constantly until they meet each other. It is easier to do when you have like a piece that is a grid piece, for example a piece of the wall, because then you have like a, or you are sure for 100% that this will be the perfect circle. I added the grid piece, like a wall, just to create the dome, and then I deleted them. I was using off the grid items and the circle wasn't like a perfect one, and I really wanted to have a perfect. That's why you will see this weird wall, which I already deleted. The original building is much more colorful outside. It has like a lot of those African patterns, triangles and stuff like that. I tried to do it actually, but I really didn't like the look of it. It came out a little bit messy. That's why I decided to change my idea. You could see me actually adding the circles at some point, and I deleted them because I thought that adding only the colors would look still okay and will be closer to my aesthetic basically. I love creating domes because it is so satisfying to me when you take those small pieces, you rotate them so many times that they finally meet with each other and they create this perfect circle. It is always so satisfying to me. So yeah, I really love this technique. As you guys can see, I didn't include the roof right now because it is simply easier to build detailed interiors when you don't have a roof above you. You don't need to make those, you know, weird camera movements, especially when you do the speed build as I am. You know, the rapids and small camera movements makes it hard to watch. That's why I decided to add the roof at the very end of this video. Of course, you will be able to see me build it, but it will be at the end, as I told you guys, when we will be finished with all the things that we will add to this building. As you guys can see, I already started to work on the interior of the building. I added 5 of the exhibits and I did the flooring. I have to tell you that there'll be some skipping in this video because otherwise it would be very long. I will just show you guys like basically how I did all the decorations inside, and then I will skip all of the, you know, adding. This will be basically the same thing over and over again, so I am sure you will be able to figure out how I did it. When it comes to the decorations inside, I am so glad that I came up with this small like wall made of those tiny little rocks. I really love how it is looking and I will be using it a lot. My general idea for the interior of this building was like an overgrown jungle with some ruins in it, so it's very themed. Normally I don't do stuff like that. I go for generic builds, as you guys can see in my series, in my other series, the Elm Hill City Zoo. We always focus on the realism and try to build stuff that you would see in a normal city zoo, but here in the zoo I am definitely more going for this very like themed stuff. We are building here the African village, and this is basically a part of the African jungle, like in Congo or something. So there'll be a lot of tropical rocks inside. There'll be a lot of logs, different parts of like trees, like roots, like branches. There'll be a lot of small plants. There'll be like those temple pieces that are a bit like you know, touched by the time, that are old, overgrown, and this is what I basically went for. And in the end, I really love it. I wasn't sold for all this idea at first because this is basically what is inside of this house in a real life zoo. It is done totally different. I wouldn't be able to replicate that in Planet Zoo. That's why I decided to do my thing. But in the end, I really love it. One thing I don't like is actually when I finished it, I loved it. I loved it so much, and I was so happy with all this theming, all the decorations inside and so on. But then when I finished this house and I had to add the roof, this was the part that I didn't like because it is looking so much like different with the roof. When you have the shade over it, you don't get so many details and so on. That's why you will probably see in the cinematic shots that I will do some shots without the roof to show you guys all this theming and all this like jungle parts in a slightly better light. So if you are wondering why some of the shots are a bit brighter and some are a bit different, that's why. I will also add a lot of lights actually to this interior, and because of that it looks really cool when it's dark. So also I will add some cinematic shots of this building when it will be dark, so you also will be able to see how it looks. At first I was a bit afraid that it looks a bit too deserty, like a bit of desert theme, but after adding a lot of plants, a lot of IVs and stuff like that, it came out really jungly, so that's what I wanted. As you guys can see, I did here sort of like a palette of things that I will be adding. This is this is making your life basically easier, because you know what kind of stuff you want to use for your theming and for decorations, so that you don't have to look for them every time you want to use certain piece. So I always try to do like this palette, like to put those individual pieces in a center and then copy them just over to the places that I want, and that's why it is so much easier. This building actually surprised me a bit, because I thought, okay, it will be a very small building, only like several exhibits, 2 animals, so it will probably take me like 2 evenings to build or something, but I was so mistaken. It was so much work. It took me over like almost a week, I think, to build it. Obviously, a lot of things are like cut out of this video, so you don't see them, but it was a lot of work, especially this, decorating this interior and stuff like that. Also, the habitats, you'll see the interior parts of them, because all of them will have like all of them, there are 2, but they will all have like an interior and outdoor parts, so that was also quite a lot of work. So yeah, this building took me quite a lot of time, but in the end it was totally worth it, because I just love it. I love how it looks. I think it looks even better than I imagined, to be honest. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. And actually, guys, if you would like to use it in your own parks, there is a link to the workshop item down below in the description. So a little surprise. I normally don't do it, but I predicted that there'll be a lot of questions about these buildings, because I know how you guys like the reptile houses. So yeah, I decided to make it into the blueprint, and you can download it and use it in your own parks. Probably you'll have to add all of the paths and the barriers by your own. Sorry if something doesn't work. I think that there are different elevations inside, so the water can be a little bit wonky and hard to add it in here, but this is how the blueprints work, and I hope you guys will enjoy having it in your parks. With this building being complete, the African village of this park is half complete. When I look at my list, we already have like 10 habitats built. I mean, I count this building as one of the habitats, so this is the 10th one, and we still have 11 to go, so we are like more or less in the half. And because of that, because we've gone so far with it, I decided that the next episode will be a tour. Yes, I will give you guys a tour of the African village, of all the things that we've built in this park. I will go to all of the backstage stuff and stuff like that. We'll go and explore the huge entrance that is in this park. So yeah, this is pretty exciting, because I love giving you guys the tours. I'm so happy that I was finally able to build a reptile house, because first of all, a lot of you guys asked about it, especially for the Elm Hill City Zoo, and we'll build the reptile house for the zoo as well for 100%, I'm sure. But secondly, I am a huge reptile lover. I love them since I was a little boy. I mean, especially those that you can actually keep at home, because I was always mesmerized about terrariums, about having a piece of nature inside of your home. And this is actually why my parents bought me a leopard gecko when I was 10, and I still have it. So I have it for 18 years and it's still with me. Her name is Leona. It's a leopard gecko. At first it was Leo, but then I figured out that it is a female, so I had to change the name, and her name is Leona. And I will actually put her picture on the screen so you can see how she is looking, and she's lovely. I would love to have more of those guys, of more reptiles, but I actually right now don't have time to have any more animals. I have my dog, I have 2 tanks, 2 aquariums with fish, and I also have my gecko, so that's enough for now. But yeah, my childhood dream was to have like a room in house dedicated to, you know, animals like reptiles, a reptile room or something. Yeah, that would be amazing. So building a house like that is making my childhood dreams come true in Planet Zoo a bit, and I am super happy to finally build it. When it comes to reptiles and terrarium hobby, if you like it as well, I really recommend the YouTube channel named Serpadesign. This is the guy who creates really stunning creations when it comes to real life terrariums. Like, he builds those small jungles closed inside of the, you know, glass tank, and it is so amazing. So I will put the link to his channel in the description. Maybe you've seen him, he has like over 1 million subscribers, but yeah, he's so amazing and I love his creations, and I would love to have a room like his. He has like a reptile room in the basement of his house, I think, where he has all of the reptiles, and yeah, this is one of my dreams for the future. So, as you guys can see, while I was talking, I did like a sort of decoration planter in the middle of the house with some implemented small terrariums. We can imagine that there will be some smaller creatures, like, I don't know, small lizards or small frogs or a scorpion or something like that. There will be 2 of those. One of them will be more of the desert theme, the other one is more tropical for some variation, and also I will add a lot of planters around those 2 implemented terrariums. I love to use the ponytail palm tree. I think that this plant gives like this, you know, very tropical feeling, and also is like a plant that you'll see actually in zoos and places like that, so I always like to use it. It just looks so great. So very recently we got some news about the Planet Zoo, about the new update. I am as always super excited about all the news, and I actually did the video about them for the first time, like an overview of the everything that we'll get with a new free update 1.9, and I also speculated a bit about what will the new DLC be. So I uploaded this video yesterday, and in case you haven't seen it, please do go and check it out. I will put the link down in the description and on the screen, because this was basically my first time to do a video like that, to, you know, talk about the things that will be coming to the game, giving you guys my opinion about those things, how useful they will be, and also I'll also try to guess what the next DLC will be based on those things that we'll get in the new update. So in case you'd like to see this video, please go and check it out. Your support on this one would mean a lot to me, because as I said, this is basically my debut when it comes to Planet Zoo news videos. So if you already watched this video and gave me a comment, gave me a thumbs up or anything, thank you so much. You are literally the best. Also, in some other news when it comes to the channel, I am in the process of changing most of my thumbnails to my previous videos, because I've changed the logo of the channel and I want all the things to be like cohesive and, you know, nice with a new logo. So this is quite a lot of work, because we have like almost 100 videos, I think, by this point. So yeah, a lot of things to change, a lot of thumbnails. So if you come across some old video with a new, totally new thumbnail, this is not a new video, this is just the picture that changed, so sorry for that, but yeah, I would love to have everything looking nice as I want to, so all of the channel is, you know, cohesive and is nice looking. Okay, I basically finished like the main hall, the main building of the reptile house, and right now I started to work on the interior habitat of the Aldabra giant tortoise. Let me just tell you guys that I love the giant tortoise, both in real life and in the game. I think that this is so cool that they were added. A really nice addition. I mean, all of the reptiles are very well made on this game. I love the monitors, I love the crocs, and I love the tortoises. They are really good. When it comes to this habitat, as I told you guys, I wanted to have the interior part and also like the outdoor part. The interior, which could be viewed from the main hall of our reptile house, and in the interior part there will be a lot of tropical plants. I always also struggle a bit. I didn't have idea what to do on the walls because I didn't want to have them so plain and boring. And then I remembered that we created this stone wall out of the fake trees a while ago, so I decided to use it in here, and in the end I love how it is looking, and it was really like easy and quick to do because I just had to adjust this wall to the shape of the building. So yeah, I also like added the planters inside because the turtles are like lone movers. I mean, they would eat everything that is green, so if you want to have tortoises, you need to protect your plants. That's why I added those planters and all the greenery in the inside part, but also outside the planters there will be there as well, so all the plants will be like covered in those, like protected from the hungry tortoises. So in this inside part we'll have all the feed enrichment items and the feeder, because the staff is actually unable to go outside because of the small opening, but it's cool. I think that they'll be fed anyway in the interior, because we are building in a desert, so the food will go bad really quickly in this heat. And I also added like a huge bedding area because it is so like realistic to have it for the tortoises. Like the keepers like spread their hay and grass and so on around the exhibit for them to eat simply. I also didn't include the footage of making like this window or viewing for the tortoises, I mean the interior part, because it is basically a part of the theming of the interior part of the building, so I just continue to do it, as then I skipped all those parts because it was really a lot of work and a lot of crazy camera movements, so it's not too enjoyable to watch. When it comes to the outside part of their habitat, there will be like one of the walls of the habitat is made out of the fake wall formation. I wanted to do it because I wanted to hide the backstage stuff, which is like behind this habitat. We'll also do it for another outside habitat for the Nile monitors in a second. The fence for the tortoises is lower, of course. They are not able to climb, and they can have a lower fence as long as the guest won't be able to touch them, grab them and so on. It is fine. So I added like a smaller fence basically, and then in this inside part I also included a small like water pond, because those turtles love to submerge themselves in the water. They love to chill out in water and so on, so I wanted to give them that. Also, as I said, there are some planters. I also included like a heat lamp, which is hidden under like a wooden roof, small roof that I used actually the part of the climbing frames that we created for the chimp to build that, and then I added a heat lamp, and this heat lamp is from the Fennec Fox set made by Lider, another content creator. His videos are amazing. He's also a guy from Poland, as I am, so I will include the link to this blueprint in the description if you want to use this heat lamp or use any of the things that he created for the Fennec Foxes. You are welcome to do so. When it comes to the Aldabra giant tortoise, they are native to the Seychelles Islands, and this is the only place where they live. And actually, I was able to see them and visit them in their natural habitat last year when I went to the Seychelles for my holidays. So it is so cool to add those guys to the park, because I actually was able to see their natural habitat. I saw them, and I was able even to touch some of them in the natural reserves that I visited. So yeah, this is so cool. And also I can tell you that the recreation of the Aldabra giant tortoise in the game is pretty spot on. The only thing I would say is that those turtles could be even bigger, because I feel like I saw bigger ones on those islands than the ones that we have in game. Those ones are probably not full grown. So yeah, but anyway, such a cool animal to have. Of course, I would like to share with you guys some fun facts about the Aldabra giant tortoise, and after that we'll move on to building a habitat for a Nile monitor. So the Aldabra giant tortoise is one of the world's largest tortoise species. They are the longest living animal in the world. They can live for much more than 100 years and are estimated to live until they are around 150 years of age. Quite a lot, huh? The adult male can weigh up to 250 kilograms, and the females are up to 150 kilograms. And also, the Aldabra giant tortoises are easily domesticated and can learn to identify their keepers in a short time, so they are pretty intelligent animals. Like, for me, the most interesting thing about those tortoises is that they are obviously huge, but how they ended up on the islands that are basically in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, this is really interesting. Like, the scientists obviously think that they evolved from the sea turtles, that came out of the ocean, and that's how they basically took over those islands. And yeah, there are a lot of them. There's also another like a Seychelles tortoise, the second one, but the Aldabra is bigger and easily noticed. They are simply like almost everywhere on those islands. You can just go for a walk and you'll encounter one for sure. They also live in, for example, on the beaches and stuff like that. So yeah, this was really, really cool. Of course, you could say that this habitat for them is a bit plain and empty and stuff like that, but just take a look at the habitats of the tortoises at your local zoos and in other zoos around the world. They are always really plain and empty, because first of all, those animals need like a lot of space to move. They can easily get blocked between the rocks or like any other parts of decorations and stuff like that. And also they will, as I said, simply eat all of the vegetation, all of the plants that are inside of their habitats. So that's why they either need to be protected, as I did in here, or they decide, like the keepers and the guys who design those habitats, they decide not to give them any plants and they just feed them daily. So that's why I decided, for the sake of realism, to not include here a lot of plants. I will add some of the dry branches. I like to use this tree trunk. I just flip it upside down, and then you have those roots that I use as branches. And also I will add some of the grass here and there for some of variation, but not too much. And in the end, I really like how this habitat has turned out. I think that it is like a very typical tortoise habitat for a zoo like this one. Okay, so after the tortoise habitat, it'll be time to build a Nile monitor habitat. And since the Nile monitors love water, they live near the water sources, I knew that I had to, include some water sections for them to enjoy. And I decided to do it both in the inside part of the habitat and on the outside. On the inside part, I actually incorporated the water in the way so that the gas looks look into the inside part of the habitat over the body of water, and I think it looks so cool. And if you even kneel down or something, you can see them diving if they would do it in the game. But yeah, I had some issues actually with those habitats with the water height. I didn't check it at the beginning when I started to build this entire like reptile house, so I had to like play a bit with rocks to make you know, the whole habitat a bit, you know, higher, so that the water will be on the right height. I don't like normally when the water is, you know, above, the water source is above the terrain around it, because I don't think it is too realistic, but I had to like deal with it in here, and I think that in the end both of those habitats look very cool with all those rocks. And also I will add the mulch pieces to the inside part to make it a bit more interesting, to have a lot of like dirt and places where I could potentially plant the plants in this habitat, because here we don't have any issues with the animal eating the plants. So I could go a bit more crazy with the plants, especially here in this indoor part, and I really love the tropical vibe of this habitat, and I also like the outside part. Of course, you will be able to take a better look at all those things in the cinematics by the end of this video. So again, here all the food things like food plate or tray and the food enrichment will be inside of the building, and the other enrichment like the toys and stuff like that will be outside because of the keepers not being able to go out there. But yeah, this is how it is, and we can make it work anyway. Inside of this habitat I will also add the basking lamps or lights made by LiDAR. I think that adding those lamps for the reptiles is very important, as they love to lay under them and get this heat. And also, as I said, a lot of plants. I will also add some plants on the water surface. I don't do it quite often, but I thought that here they will look just fine. Also in the outside part of the habitat there will also be a lot of plants in the water and on the water section, so also it looks really cool. When it comes to the Nile monitors, I was super obsessed with those guys when the game was released. I was so happy that they were added because it's not like an obvious like zoo game animal in my opinion, and I really loved how the model of this lizard is looking. It is so beautiful with all of those details and scales and different colors. Yeah, really cool animal. I was adding them to all of my parks because I love reptiles so much, and this one was like a special one for me. And I actually stopped at some point because I was a bit tired, or I don't know, over with the Nile monitor, and I added it here like after a really long break, and I forgot how much I love this one. This is such an outstanding animal for me. Really cool, and as a reptile lover I appreciate it so much. I actually like wish we had more of those. We have a lot of crocodiles, we have only 2 lizards, the Komodo dragon and the Nile monitor. We have, for example, iguanas that are not really too much smaller than the Nile monitor, and they're the exhibit animals, and I wish so much that they could be released out of those exhibits so that we could build like regular habitats for them, because iguanas are also like really cool and very common zoo animals, so building habitats for them would be also cool, just as we are building today for the Nile monitor. And when it comes to the fun facts about the Nile monitor, it is the largest lizard in Africa. It can grow over 2 meters long. One of the things that they eat are the crocodile eggs, so that's why they can be seen near the crocodile nesting sites. Adult Nile monitors can easily outrun people over short distances. They can also remain underwater for more than an hour, so it is actually a very pity that they cannot dive in the game. I wish it was changed. The female Nile monitor lay her clutch of eggs in the active mounds of termites. The heat from the termites acts to incubate the eggs. When they hatch, baby lizards resemble tiny versions of their parents. The biggest enemy of the Nile monitor is the Martial eagle, which is capable of capturing and carrying away an individual weighing up to 4 kilograms, so a pretty strong bird. And also the Nile monitors have been living wild in Florida in USA since the 1990s, probably having escaped from private collections. The reptile has adapted well to the subtropical wetlands and has become a menace to some native wildlife, including alligators. The majority of the established breeding populations is in Lee County. So if you are from the United States, you can also encounter the Nile monitor in your country in Florida, which is somehow amazing how they were able to adapt to this a bit different, but maybe not totally different climate. Okay, so as you guys can see, I am working right now on the outside part of the Nile monitor habitat. Let me just tell you guys that the habitats both for the Nile monitor and for the tortoises aren't maybe the largest. Both of them, they are not big enough when it comes to the game requirements for animals. They require a bit bigger habitats when it comes to the land area for them to be happy, but I think that realistically those habitats are like a perfect size, both of them. The one for the tortoises seems a bit too big, to be honest. The one for the Nile monitors could easily also be a bit smaller. Yeah, sometimes those game requirements are not too realistic, but still, I think that those two habitats are fine for the animals as they are. At first I thought that it will be cool that the guests will be able to see them swimming through this rock arch formation, but then I thought that this habitat is so small that it takes a lot of space actually, and closes down the viewing a bit. And when I deleted that, I immediately thought that it was a great idea to delete it, because thanks to that it looks so much spacious, and the view is not so closed off and so on. So we will see it disappearing at some point, but I think that it was the right decision. Yeah, so there are a lot of plants outside as well. There are also a lot of rocks as always, some enrichment items, and a big water section for them to swim with some plants, and also really nice habitat. I also wanted to have it a bit higher than the path level, so those not too big animals are a bit below, above the ground, for the guests to see them better. And right now I am working on a final step of today's video, and those are the roofs. Of course, this is an African themed part of the zoo, and all of the roofs are made of those thatch pieces, so here I wanted to do it as well. And it was actually a struggle, because making such a large roof from those pieces that are not too I don't know how to say it, but they are really messy with all those thatch and such so on, and making a really neat and clean roof out of them was simply impossible. So from the bird's perspective, from the above, the roof doesn't look too well, but from the guest perspective, I think that they are perfect. I wanted to have a bit of variation, so the largest roof is really plain, but those smaller ones are a bit more detailed and have this cool detail of the beam sticking out. And in the end, I like how it all has has turned out. Of course, I will decorate the whole thing around the enclosure and then you will be able to see it all in the cinematics by the end of this video, so stay tuned. Okay guys, this is all that I have for you today. I hope you have enjoyed our little video today, or not so little, it was quite a long one. If you did enjoy, please consider to subscribe to my channel. It would really mean a world to me and will help my little channel to grow, and also you won't miss my future uploads. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up down below, ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, and also comment down below which was your favorite of the two enclosure. Do you like the Nile monster more, or do you like the Tortoise more? Which is your favorite reptile in the game? Also a really fun question, I would love to hear that. And of course, let me know if you enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!